You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. More specifically, we're going to talk about Russell Wilson. Oh, big expectations on Russell Wilson and the Steelers this year. No doubt, Omar Khan, I think, did a pretty good job reworking their quarterback room considering. But I've also said there's a world where this turns out to be a complete disaster, and Russell Wilson is no better than he's been the last 2 years with the Denver Broncos. I do think Arthur Smith offers something that possibly Russell Wilson can work with that maybe the stars didn't align with Sean Payton. Maybe there won't be so much timing and rhythm needed in Arthur Smith's offense, and, well, it'll be okay if Russell Wilson looks at one receiver and takes off and runs. All right? But I've also been vocal about the fact I think Justin Fields ends up taking this job about halfway through the season. And maybe, who knows, if the Steelers are struggling, maybe Justin Fields brings them back and leads them into the playoffs. It's a huge year for Mike Tomlin, big expectations. The owner has come out and said, look, you got to not only get into the playoffs this year, you need to win a game. You need to actually, it's been a long time since the Steelers have got a playoff win. Well, there you got one NFL analyst that's pretty well known here that has come out and he's crushed Russell Wilson. He does not think this is going to work. I saw the other day where Ryan Clark said he didn't think this was going to work. And it wasn't that long ago, by the way, where I believe it was Steve Smith came out and said, and of course he played for the Ravens, that he was hoping the Steelers would sign Russell Wilson because it would do nothing but help the actual Ravens. That's not great. That's not a great look. But again, you've got two quarterbacks on the roster, so it's not necessarily that the season could be lost, but we're going to find out. This is the last ride. This is the last ride for Russell Wilson. If it doesn't work out with a coach like Mike Tomlin, it's probably a wrap, and he's done. Russell Wilson was one of the bigger signings of the offseason for the Steelers, filling a desperate need in the quarterback position. With the Broncos paying most of Wilson's contract, the move has been regarded as a steal, especially at $1.21 million. I agree with that, actually. At that price point, you've got to see what Russell can do one last time. And guys, you know I'm not the biggest Russell Wilson guy. But at $1.2 million, I get it. He looks like a lot better quarterback at anything under $10 million, all right, than at $35 million. The vision starts getting nasty and blurry then. However, Pete Prisco of CBS has a different opinion. Man, he's been around a long time. Prisco believes that not only will the Steelers miss the playoffs entirely, but that Russell Wilson will be to blame. Quote, yeah, I don't think they're going to be very good. I think they're going to win 7 games. I think that's what Ryan Clark said. And I think when you look at Russell Wilson, I don't think he's good anymore, Prisco said. I'll be honest with you. I think his best years are behind him. It wouldn't surprise me at some point if Justin Fields took over as starter on this team. I think they're going to struggle throwing the football much like they have for the last couple of years. I do. I just don't see the same guy in Russell Wilson anymore. Even though the Steelers have not had a consistent quarterback play since the retirement of Big Ben, Prisco predicts that it will get worse for the 2024 campaign. However, he didn't completely dig on the team, mentioning their improvements in the trenches. He thinks they got better on the offensive line. We're going to see. I've said I think you had to get rid of Kenny Pickett. All right? I think his attitude problems flashed last year. And, of course, after that Justin Fields behavior story came out with Nick Foles and Andy Dalton, I don't know how I feel about him right now either. but he's younger, and I think he's more dynamic than Russell Wilson. So we come over here, one of my absolute favorite guys in the history of anything that has to do with somebody that was with ESPN is Mike Golic Sr. That's right. We all remember Mike and Mike. Well, he has come out, and he's made some of the same comments about that Week 2 matchup. There's a lot of talk going on already about that matchup with Sean Payton that's coming, the grudge match that I did a video on the other day. That's going to, I mean, it's May, okay? It is just past mid-May, and we're talking about a Week 2 matchup with the Denver Broncos. Quote, as I've always said, whether it's applicable or amicable or not, whenever you play your former team, it's not like Russell had been there forever, but it was not good. So he's probably going to get booed by the crowd there. They're going to hang him out to dry. Players want to show the team, the coach, the management, you made a mistake. I even did that when I went from Philly to Miami as a free agent, Golic said, about when he left the Eagles in 93. When I went to Miami, we went back to play Philly, and there was just a little bit more in your motor that wants to get you going. Quote, you know what? You should have kept me. So with Russell Wilson, you're human, man. He's going to want to show, listen, I'm still the guy that I especially was in Seattle. I just don't know about that. He is right. They are right about one thing. They're talking about fans love grudge matches and revenge matches, and that's going to be really interesting. The problem with the Seattle thing is that Pete Carroll and John Schneider, they weren't happy with Russell. They were good getting rid of him. They were more than happy to get rid of him. I mean, we all saw what happened when they played him. I mean, Pete Carroll was ecstatic when they beat him. And he said, we won this for all the old guys. And it's like, man, how was Russell Wilson viewed? I've said before, Sean Payton and Pete Carroll are both future Hall of Fame NFL coaches. They both couldn't wait to get rid of Russell. Mike Tomlin is a future NFL Hall of Fame head coach, I think. I mean, that playoff streak, along with having a Super Bowl ring, I mean, I just think that eventually gets him in. But this is, if it doesn't work out with the Steelers under the third veteran, long-time, well-respected head coach, and Russell falls on his face, it's a wrap. It's over. It will be over with. Unless he wants to be a backup, he won't be getting another job as a starter. This is it. This is the shut up and play season for Russell Wilson. He needs to go out there, and his statistics last season, when you just look at them, you're like, well, he had a pretty good year. But when you watch the film, you realized how deficient he was running that offense. And that's the things that's got to look better. Not taking as many sacks, cutting down fumbles, actually throwing the ball when you got a wide open receiver instead of taking it down and running it. Does he do that still? If he does, he's going to infuriate offensive coordinators, and he's not going to stick around. Justin Fields might have the same problem, by the way. Yikes. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.